So if you're really into car audio, and I mean really into car audio, this is the episode to tune into because we're talking about a brand that is absolutely dead serious about car audio. That is, of course, Ground Zero, the brand that's got a catalog this thick for just about every consumer type, listener, you name it. Ground Zero has the solution. And today, we're going to dive deep with their product expert, Jacob Brown, to help understand exactly how Ground Zero has solutions for every car audio customer. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Ground Zero car audio. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and we're talking about a hardcore car audio brand. Yes, we're talking about Ground Zero, famous for their German engineering with roots in California. We're going to get all the deets. So we've got Jacob Brown, their product specialist, coming in. Jacob, we got a lot to cover on today's show. Can you give us a breakout of what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, Ben, thanks for having me. And you took half of my spiel right out from under me. Super established car audio brand with roots back into the US. So here we are again, full circle in the US, hitting it home. But what are we going to talk about? Pretty much anything you want. Any question you want to ask, whether it's about our new DSP, how our products break down, what are some cool focuses or points that a retailer or consumer should know. Just anything you want, dude, I'm here to take care of it.
Oh, Jacob. You might regret what you just said there because I'm going to hit you up with some serious questions that dealers want to know about. But first, a quick message from our partner, SiriusXM, reminding you why it's always a great add-on sale. And when we come back, let's talk Ground Zero car audio. Don't you dare go away.
Hi, Paul Truman here with SiriusXM. We reached out to some of our partners in the industry, and here's what they had to say.
I can't say more or enough about just what it means to have our unit working with SiriusXM. It's like we're there now.
The SiriusXM service is something consumers want, right? So it's Paul.
That allows a consumer to listen to either podcasts, entertainment, sports, all at their fingertips. It's all about engagement, and that's what SiriusXM provides.
SiriusXM is a huge component in a vehicle nowadays. Consumers expect that technology to be available both in our OEM system as well as the aftermarket upgrades that they're applying to their vehicle.
Alpine and SiriusXM, through our electronics, are able to offer the consumer on the aftermarket side SiriusXM 360L, which is an expanded platform for SiriusXM. And it's really been a beneficial relationship for us with SiriusXM.
As a dealer, just remember, we don't compete with anybody else. We are absolutely one of the best profitability accessories you can add to any head unit that is SiriusXM ready.
All right, guys, welcome back to the show. We've got Jacob Brown from Ground Zero Car Audio joining us. Now, Jacob, you opened the floodgates, brother. You gave me the golden ticket, so we're going to dive right in. You said it, I said it, and for those that don't know, I want to put on the record. Ground Zero, guys, is not a new company. For those of you that think, oh, this company came out of nowhere, no, that is not the case. Ground Zero has a long history in this category, starting with its original inception in California. That's right, in the U.S., even though it says German engineering. Well, you know what? Let's get Jacob to explain the story.
Yeah, you said something earlier. I have a lot of regrets in my life. Opening the floodgates to talk to you isn't one of them. But, let's have some fun with this. So we talk about pedigree and established, theory of car audio and all the stuff that goes along with what we Ground Zero are. And it's exactly that. A lot of the products that we know and love today in different segments of the industry are a result of something that Ground Zero did 30 years ago. So when we talk about kind of high roll surrounds, when we talk about massive power Class Ds, when we talk about some of these things, a lot of them Ground Zero had their fingers in a very early on standpoint. So they've not only been around for a long time, but they have helped mold and shape car audio as we know it today. So the cool thing that I really dig about what Ground Zero is today is it's still an extension of that original team. The guys that we work with in Germany were the original German distributor for the Los Angeles-based company. When they decided to go and call it quits, the team in Germany purchased them. So it's stayed in the same family, if you want to call it that, since the original get-go. And to me, that means a lot, because that means that the ideology and the thought process and the core development of phenomenal products, no matter how many they are, all still roots back to the original love of car audio. And everybody that we've got working with us here in the US, we're all car audio geeks, except for Andy, who's a car audio geek and power sports guy, and you guys all know and love him. But again, to the root core, we are car audio. And that's a big thing for us to be able to say.
And Jacob, I really want to kind of zone in on something you said there. That term, we are car audio. You mentioned Andy, you mentioned power sports, but when you look and really dissect the catalog, which we're about to talk about here in a second, this is a brand that is wholeheartedly invested in car audio. Now, I'm not throwing shade on brands that have expanded their catalog into other categories like marine and power sports and bikes and all that type of stuff. No, all I'm trying to emphasize here is Ground Zero has a catalog the size of it as it does strictly for car audio applications. I think that's something remarkable and something to take note of how serious, just to what level we're talking about. Now, on that note, some of the concerns that I've heard over the last few years is, yeah, Ground Zero looks like a really interesting brand, Ben, but man, do they have a lot of product. I'm having a hard time kind of digesting exactly what does what. So maybe you can help us get a better understanding for the product breakout strategy that Ground Zero has deployed.
Yeah, Ben, if you're looking at the catalog can be intimidating, because usually when you look at a product catalog, no matter what it is, as you turn the page, it either gets more expensive or it gets less expensive, and it's all kind of the same category, so to speak, within whatever you're looking at. The way that ours works is we kind of look at it a couple of different ways. So we've taken our core lines and broken it down into different subsections. So we've got kind of a handshake product, but then we've got this ladder mentality. So it's not that you're climbing the ladder, it's that you're climbing a ladder. So as you move up, what you start to see is that your next step up might not be just better. It would probably be different. And then you've got, kind of this one odd duck over here in the competition / SPO world, which is almost like climbing the rope in school. It's a straight line up. They do better, they do differently. But when we look at kind of the really intimidating part of our product category, I would say it's what we would classify as core car audio products. And again, it's not just spend more, get better.
All right, Jacob. Well, I think you've set the stage. And for the purpose of this Connected, we're going to make this real simple for y'all. We're going to break this down into 3 categories of sound signatures or customer types that you would understand, because we want to make this simple enough that your takeaway from this show is you have a better understanding of what Ground Zero is trying to do. So having said that, Jacob, let's start with what we'll call, or what you'll call, the daily listener. The bread and butter of our business, the guys that just want better sound in their car, maybe a little bit on the budget conscious side of things, but daily listener, let's break that down from a product perspective.
Yeah, so when we talk about daily listener, 3 lines come to mind, but 2 of them I think are really kind of the focus of this thought process and this how we evaluate a customer. So when we look at titanium, hydrogen, and nuclear, again, the 2 that really pop into my mind for, I think you referred to it as the bulk, the bread and the butter, is going to be titanium and hydrogen. And the cool thing about these is we look at versatility. When we look at the hydrogen line, this is going to be, kind of our middle. The hydrogen mini amps, to me, really jump out. This is a super versatile line that is able to do the jack of all trades. And it's relatively inclusive with regard to SKUs. So in this line, we've got a 2-channel, an SQ based 4-channel, a 600 watt monoblock, a 1000 watt monoblock, a 5-channel making, 75 by 4 plus 600 by 1. And then we take that 5-channel and integrate a DSP. So when we talk about bread and butter, that to me is a phenomenal asterisk definition of that mentality. Taking a step into maybe a little more entry level, but still jack of all trades, titanium. The titanium series is known with the components in mind. These are an incredibly cool, versatile type product. They're all 3 ohms, so whether it's the components or the coax. So it's going to tweak and make a little bit more power out of some things that maybe it shouldn't. So now we can take budget and manipulate it a bit. But it's also a phenomenally neutral sound signature. So a little more oomph in the mid bass, a very smooth tweeter, exactly what we're looking for in that that bread and butter jack of all trades type mentality.
All right, all right. So we're getting the ball rolling here. We're talking about that daily driver type system. If you're tuning in, Jacob referenced both the hydrogen as well as titanium being kind of go-to series when it comes to that type of sound signature. But what if you have a customer that is a little bit more into the sound quality side of things? You know, the SQ customer. Maybe they've got a big home system at home. They really appreciate the finer details of acoustics. What do you have for them?
Yeah, Ben. So when we talk about, or when we had talked about daily listener, there's kind of three categories with two defaults. And for me, SQ can kind of be explained the same way for that core line. So we've got radioactive uranium and plutonium. But for me, one of the defining factors of SQ is the transition of amplification. And that's where the uranium amps really shine. The 2SQ, the 4SQ, the 6SQ were all specifically built for really that transition to what we would equate to high-end SQ. And one of the features of these amps is the adjustable bias. So I can take a Class AB amplifier and force it to behave more like a Class AB. So tweeters and mid-ranges that don't require a lot of power, I can introduce a sound signature to them that's going to equate to a higher end of SQ, but mid-bass, sub, whatever else you need, I don't need to sacrifice efficiency, and I can still allow these amplifiers to work as intended, so to speak, in that traditional mindset. So for me, the term SQ is centered around that idea of reference, and these amplifiers are really a phenomenal jumping off point for reference. When we talk about speakers, I love the plutonium line. This is a set of speakers that demand an SQ mindset. While yes, they can get rowdy if they need to, they can sound super smooth naturally out of the box. They are a set of speakers that are going to show imperfections far more than that of like a daily listener type product. So you're going to need clean power, uranium and up amplification. You're going to need proper installation to make sure we're eliminating reflections. You start to get that tweaky, more custom fabricated mentality with the plutoniums, or sorry, the need for these things with these speakers. So again, when we talk reference builds all boil down to the overall build. It's not just product. It's got to be the room. It's got to be the wiring. It's got to be the amplification. And that really is going to be where plutonium thrives, is in that perfectly reference type build as a jumping off point for this real true reference. So yeah, SQ, I kind of hold it in a different regard, and I truly love that ideology.
Now, our third and final category that we want to discuss, well, is pretty darn fun, because we're talking SPL, we're talking pro, we're talking competition. We need volume. We need high performance type componentry. And yeah, Ground Zero's kind of made their name in this faction as well. So Jacob, break it down for us when it comes to the catalog, and you have a customer or dealer looking specifically at that kind of pro competition type sound. What do you have to offer?
Yeah, Ben, one of the things that, and I'm not sure if I want to correct you or run with it, but when you had mentioned a pro sound signature or a pro style sound, we kind of address that a little bit different way. We're a car audio company. So everything we do is a car audio product. So with regard to this, it's not that it's a pro product, it's a car audio product that is highly sensitive or reimagines what it is that we're trying to accomplish. So even with regard to a budget-minded concern, we have an entry-level pro-based product or competition-based product, even in the Iridium line. So we can appeal from an entry-level customer with the GZIC 165.2 SPL, entry-level pro-based or competition-based component set, working through our midline and our a la carte pieces, the yellow baskets, the black baskets, the waveguide tweeters, so on and so forth, moving up to what I would almost put as the complete opposite of an entry level, and that's our what I would call a red basket, or our GZCF 165 Neo Pro coax. And the cool thing about this driver is it's the extreme high end of high SPL, but yet super phenomenal sounding. And that's, if you've heard them, the constant feedback is, wow, I didn't think something could be that loud and that good. And that is the common, ideology behind the Ground Zero competition lines, whether it's Competition or Competition Pro. And again, even Iridium. So that's why I wanted to kind of touch on this is a line, as you move up, it gets better and better and better, but it might not be as versatile, and that's okay. This is the time when that's okay.
So if you've been following along thus far, I think we've done a pretty good job trying to simplify how the Ground Zero mindset is. And that is, there is literally a product for every type of customer that is walking into your shop looking for a specific type of sound. So Jacob, just a quick final word here. We've taken the time, given some great examples. What final message do you have for anybody tuning in that's gone this far?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I know how I work, and I really hope that somebody took something away from this with an idea of clarity. But the thing that I think really stands out for either somebody who doesn't know Ground Zero yet, or somebody who knows the name but maybe not necessarily the product line, is it's not an intimidating brand. It takes a little bit of getting used to, understanding part numbers and how that reacts to its hierarchy or its series. These are all things that come into play, but that's why we're here. That's why the Ground Zero team has the ability to have these conversations with you guys, is to help you understand that our product line doesn't need to be scary. It's just massive. And once you get the idea of who you are and how we can apply, it becomes very simple. So for me, that's really the biggest thing is don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to pick our brains and make comments on things like this. If you're hoping for answers, check out our website if you have more questions, or reach out and we will be happy to point you in the direction that you need to be going.
That was Ground Zero's Jacob Brown joining us on a very educational segment here, talking about Ground Zero and their, very unique offering, but yet very focused offering in car audio. Now, like Jacob said, if you're interested in finding out more details of any of the products covered on today's show, I do implore you to take a look at the official website. We'll put that on the screen right now. And if you happen to be a dealer in Canada that wants more information, or maybe you want to become the next Ground Zero dealer, hit up the good folks at Importel, as they are the official distribution partner for Ground Zero in Canada. Now, my takeaway from this, I think today really gave some clarity for those of you who might not have understood this brand. I call it a misunderstood brand only because if you don't take the time and the effort to kind of peel away that first layer to discover exactly what the DNA of this brand is, I think you're missing out. If you're into car audio, like what I said in the beginning of this show, Ground Zero might just be the brand for you. They literally check every box for every type of sound signature that a customer would want. Not only that, they have it in multiple different options. At the end of the day, don't take a look at this as an intimidating task, but rather an opportunity that awaits for you to maybe up your ante when it comes to providing your car audio customers with the best sound they could possibly get. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.